Hey guys, what's going on? This is Christian here. So I wanted to do a video to kind of address a lot of the stuff that I was getting in the comment section of the Night of Living Dead video we just did covering it. There was so many comments, a lot of them positive, a lot of them negative, and I kind of want to talk about this because it'd be easier for me to just do a video as opposed to trying to give a good response to a lot of people that have, the negative opinions. I'm, of course, talking about the Blu-ray people. Now, the first thing I want to say is I have tried to reach out to Sony for comment. I did want to say that I did make an attempt to try to get some sort of an answer on this, but let's kind of cover this whole thing. Let's say you didn't see that video. Long story short, we're getting Night of the Living Dead 4K uncut in a steelbook form this September, which is great, right? Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But when we did the video covering what it's going to look like, what it's going to be, what's going to be on it, we learned that the Blu-ray disc is only going to have the standard theatrical version. It's not going to have the uncut version. It will have the special features on that disc, but, there's that. So if you're a Blu-ray collector, a lot of the Blu-ray collectors out there, they were gutted. They were upset about this, and there was some back and forth in the comments about this. And then there were other people that were like, 4K is the way, it's 2025, I can't help you if you're not that way. Well, I kind of wanted to talk about this whole thing and give you my thoughts on this because I do think that there is some discussion to be had with this. First of all, people have asked me, do I think there's going to be a standard version? I hate to be negative, but my honest answer is no. I mean, look at the way they treated Fright Night. That was Sony. I even Googled it before doing this video to double check. That was Sony. What did Sony do with Fright Night on 4K? They put out a steelbook. Now, they did do the original artwork, but a lot of people, they don't want steelbooks. They don't like steelbooks. And that's just kind of the way of the world, I guess. I guess enough people do that. That's all they're doing. There was no standard version. And you look at the way Sony operates, they kind of just put out a movie at the, at the best format at the time. Like, take a look at Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead came out on DVD, not DVD and Blu-ray, came out on DVD with that black artwork. And then years later, they put out Night of the Living Dead on Blu-ray, and I'm not counting the Twilight time. That's a whole different ball of wax. We actually covered that on the channel. Then they did the Blu-ray for Night of the Living Dead with the white artwork, the poster, and now we're getting the 4K. They did the same thing with Fright Night. Fright Night Blu-ray, Fright Night DVD, then Twilight Time again, and then Sony did the Fright Night Blu-ray, which I did a video on that, which is still a great Blu-ray release, and it's a standard release, and then they did the 4K. This is the way Sony kind of operates. Now, here's the whole situation as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to address some of the comments that I saw down below. The first thing is, well, Sony is going the way of 4K because they know Blu-ray and DVD are in the past. That's a little true, but in a grand sense, guys, that's not exactly the case. I mean, you can go on Google and look at the sales charts for physical media, and here's an example of just from 1 month. Now, it's the same pretty much every month when you look at the pie chart. I think gray is DVD, blue is Blu-ray, and black is 4K. 4K is the least selling format to this very day, as far as I'm aware of physical media. Now, there's two sides to that coin. The first side of the coin is the people that are buying the DVDs the most, the Tom, Dicks, and Harrys of the world that are just getting, the $5 DVDs out of the bins or just picking up a movie to own it because they couldn't find it on streaming, so they go to Walmart to grab it. You got to count those people in on this physical media charts. We have got to realize that when we're looking at this, this is all over, not just horror fans or boutique collectors. This is the world. So that's the one side of the coin. So it's kind of not true that, Sony thinks that 4K is just the way, but it also might be in a sense. Now, here's one reason that I think they may not have put the movie on the Blu-ray disc. I think, first of all, I think Sony is aware that who they're selling it to, in a sense. Now, you could say, well, Christian, I am a Blu-ray person, and I'm a collector of these genres. So they should be selling it to me as well. Well, I get that, but I think what they're doing is they're realizing this release, this kind of release, who's going to buy it? Physical media collectors, horror fans, and I feel like there is some sort of coinciding thing with them being physical media people and horror fans. A lot of horror fans seem to, because we love owning the things we love in horror, and one of those things is movies. And I think that they're catering to the niche audience with this release in a sense because that's who the customer is. Tom, Dick, and Harry are not going to go and say, hey man, we got to get the uncut version of the Night of the Living Dead remake. First off, they'll probably just see the original, not even know the remake exists. So I think that they're selling it to a niche market to begin with. Now, here's the other thing. Why it may not be on the Blu-ray, in my opinion. So I don't know what size discs they're having, but let's look at this. The 4K is going to have two versions of the film, the 4K uncut version and the theatrical version. The Blu-ray is going to have the theatrical version that is from the 4K scan that they did, the new transfer, as well as all the special features. This could be a thing of just saving money. There could be a way that they could have put, I don't know if they're using the biggest size discs that they have for Blu-ray. I know Blu-ray discs have a lot of memory you can have on them, and I think 4K even more. But there's a chance that they're not wanting to spend the extra money to maybe use the bigger discs that could hold both cuts of the films on the Blu-ray, as well as the special features. And if you're saying, well, Christian, they could have done it on the 4K, maybe, but you've already got two 4K versions of the film on the 4K disc to begin with. So, I mean, that's a thing that I've seen. Sometimes people like it when there's no special features on the 4K disc because that means that they're not doing any sort of, I don't know if the terminology is right, but any sort of compression on the movie on the disc. And I could be way oversimplifying that. And here's the reality, guys. I mean, I've seen some people going back and forth and arguing about this. You got to understand something. Like, if you ask me, Christian, would you pay $5 extra on the release to have the Blu-ray have both cuts of the films? I would say yeah, because I want Blu-ray people to enjoy the uncut version just as much as me, because I'm a 4K person and a Blu-ray person, but I have the capability. But you got to remember, not everybody's like in the position I am, where I've got my YouTube channel, where I can make a little bit of ad revenue, where it's not going to bother me too much. Other people don't want that. I mean, if you're a 4K person and you're just a regular guy, which I am, but my point is you don't do YouTube on the side or nothing, you're not going to want to spend any extra money. You'd probably be like, no, just put everything on the 4K disc and make it even cheaper. You know, so everybody's just, they're not, I don't think people are trying to be disrespectful back towards each other. Like, no, you're dumb. Blu-ray is old. What are you talking about? Like, get a 4K TV. Where are you at? I understand what they're really getting at, I think, is listen, I'm a consumer. I want the best price. No, I don't want to pay any more to have both cuts on the Blu-ray disc, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of variables. Maybe we'll get an answer, maybe we won't, but that's my whole thing. Like, I just wanted to talk about that because I don't think the argument that Blu-ray is in the past is necessarily true, but in the collector's market, it kind of is, in a sense. I mean, a lot of these companies, they're doing 4K unless they can't. Unless the material's not there to do the 4K, then they'll do a Blu-ray. But, I mean, look at even companies like TerraVision. Like, if they can do some of these small movies on 4K, they're doing them. So that is the niche market today of physical media, and the collector's market is 4K catered more than anything. So, I don't know, guys. We'll see. I think at the end of the day, if there's a digital code, hopefully you'll be able to redeem that and watch it if you are a Blu-ray person. Because I want everybody to enjoy it too. Why would I want to gatekeep watching the uncut version anyway? So, I wanted to just talk about this, guys, and get this out there. And you never know. Talking about this publicly could change something for other people, or they could say, no. Maybe the 4K cut is on the uncut version is on the Blu-ray disc. We don't know. Maybe it was an oversight on the listing. So it did say subject to change, but that was for the special features. So just wanted to talk about this and address all the comments in a video. So have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, guys, take care.
Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.